this is the story that has me fired up tonight. Republicans, basically, this is the landscape. They are manhandling any Democrat who gets in their way. You got to think the way they do or you're a real problem. Now, this gentleman, this tax-paying Virginia voter, has quite a story to tell. He was forcefully taken down to the ground and arrested by 3 police officers because they thought there was a possibility he may disrupt a campaign event for House Minority Whip Eric Cantor. His name is John Taylor, and he'll tell us his side of the story in just a moment. Well, here's what happened. Taylor, his wife and son, and another person, they basically RSVP'd to an Eric Cantor event. I mean, he's their congressman. It's a public event. It was going to be held at the Solid Grounds Coffee House in Louisa, Virginia. Pretty normal. This all happened on Monday. All right, so Taylor and his party walk in, drank a cup of coffee, and then, of course, all hell broke loose. You see, someone recognized Taylor. There's that Democrat over there. Then the owner of the coffee shop asked him to leave. When Taylor refused, of course, the cops got involved. Take a look at how this all unfolded. It's pretty shocking video.
Put your hands behind.
Dad?
Do it now.
Do it!
Stop resisting. It is not illegal arrest.
Yes, it is an illegal arrest. Yes, it is an illegal arrest. Size? Are you really? Oh, my God. Get me.
Put your hand behind your back.
Put your hand behind your back right now. Put your hand behind your back.
He can't if you're holding him.
Behind your back. Hurting my neck. Ow! Ow! You just up my arm. I can't believe you guys did this. I can't believe you did that.
You have to stop resisting.
How was I resisting?
How was he resisting? Did I hear that? Well, Taylor was charged with trespassing, creating a public disturbance, and resisting arrest. Now, let's go back to the videotape. This is getting kind of pretty commonplace here on the Ed Show. All right, so the guy, he's a big dude, all right? He's told the cops, you know, you're going to need a couple of pair of handcuffs here because I can't connect my arms to the back. Oh, now here comes another Bubba. He's got to, look at Bubba, pulling him down to the ground. What is he doing wrong? Look at this disturbance he's creating. Look at all the people that just can't believe what's going on. There's one guy watching. This is just a terrible public disturbance. We're going to take care of this Democrat right here. He's not a Republican. We're going to sit on him. This is embarrassing for law enforcement. That's what this is. This is America. You mean to tell me that this guy was so threatening that he had to be taken down by 3 cops when he was cooperating and saying all along, I'm not resisting? His son was standing right there. His wife was right there. And oh, by the way, law enforcement is well equipped in the state of Virginia because 12 cops were called on that one. I'm asking this question every night on the Ed Show now. What in the hell is going on in this country? Whatever happened to talking to people? Taylor just wanted to ask Mr. Cantor to debate his opponent, Rick Waugh. Cantor's campaign, they put out this statement, very accusatory. This is a pattern with Rick Waugh of disruptive and, frankly, thuggish behavior. And, frankly, he needs to get control of his campaign. Thuggish behavior? Taylor didn't do anything wrong. He just wanted to go to a public event, RSVP to do it. Just wanted to ask a question because, you know, his tax dollars pay Mr. Cantor's salary. At least I think that's kind of the way it goes. Well, Cantor staffers, they just couldn't handle the risk, so they had the cops get involved and tackle him. You know, this event, ironically, happened on the same day that Rand Paul's thugs did this to a woman. Tea Partiers disrupted Democratic town hall meetings, if I can remember the news stories correctly, during the health care debate. Remember all that shouting and all that intimidation that was going on? I don't believe anybody got kicked or thrown around or arrested or any of that kind of stuff or taken to the hospital. So now we have Democrats getting assaulted for what? Well, hell, they're practicing free speech. We can't let that happen. This is embarrassing to this country. There are other nations watching Americans act like this. It is embarrassing. It is not the moral high ground. And some of these countries that we've invaded, that we're trying to say bring freedom and democracy to these other countries that we've invaded, they're saying, hey, they shut people down at political events in America when they speak up. They have cops gang tackle guys right there that aren't even threatening. Well, it doesn't stop there. Out in Washington, oh yeah, there's another event. Down at Washington State, and Walla Walla Union Bulletin is reporting that more Republican violence against liberals. Can you believe it? Now this girl, she's a threat. She's a 23-year-old ass kicker right here. Christy Stordu. Well, you know what? A 72-year-old angry man hit her when she was protesting Republican Senate candidate Dino Rossi outside the Republican Party office in Walla Walla. Honey, you can't do that in America anymore. The Republican Party doesn't like that. Republican Party is running away from the media and beating up liberals who get near them. If they take control of the Congress next week, I think this is only going to get worse. Republicans are under the delusion that, they don't have to answer to anybody. And they don't have to debate anybody because they got all this corporate money behind them, and they can just steamroll their way right over the taxpayers, right into the Congress. And the low-information voters, they're going to carry those folks right on their back all the way to the halls of Congress. Guys like Eric Cantor and John Boehner, you know what they are? They're gutless. They're gutless because they will not debate their opponents. On this program last night, we had Justin Casuli, who's running against Boehner in Ohio. And for the third time, the third interview, Mr. Casuli told us that Boehner won't debate him. Is that fair? Is that fair to you? As much as, of course, you Republicans are always complaining about how much you pay in tax. Well, hell, don't you think you deserve at least one debate? Now, they know they're wrong on all the issues. If they grab power next week, they'll destroy this country and manhandle anybody who gets in their way. And tomorrow, I'm going to try to make contact with the supervisor of those cops, because I think that gives law enforcement a real bad name. I thought that was horribly unnecessary. And Mr. Taylor was no threat. Mr. Taylor could have been conversed with easily. But you see, the cops, they don't want a congressman getting pissed off at them. No, heck no, they don't want Eric Cantor. Hell, he could be in the leadership because it looks like they might take over the House. So these cops, you know what they're doing? They're in lockstep. I invite any one of those three officers in the videotape to come face-to-face with me on this program and tell me why that was necessary to manhandle that American like that. Why? Because he wanted to speak up? He wanted to go ask his congressman a question? If you're in Iraq tonight and you're watching, we got a lot of problems over here, too. Tell me what you think in our telephone survey. The number to dial is 1-877-ED-MSNBC. My question tonight is it okay for Republicans to ban Democrats from their political events? Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no. We'll bring you the results later on in the show. Now, this gentleman's going to get about 6 minutes to explain exactly what happened. Joining me now is Jonathan Taylor, a Democrat. He's a Democrat now. He was arrested at the event for Congressman Cantor. Mr. Taylor, good to have you with us tonight. I appreciate your time. What happened when you walked into the cafe?
Well, when I walked into the cafe, the first thing I did was just sat down at a table with some other Democrats. Then later I went back and got some coffee with my son. We sat back down at the table, and we were sitting there conversing amongst ourselves, just waiting for Eric Cantor to show up and hopefully get the opportunity to ask him a few questions.
Were you carrying a sign? Did you have stickers? Were you disruptive in any way?
We had nothing of this. We had nothing of the sort. We were all dressed in street clothes. I mean, I had my teenage son with me. One of the ladies had her granddaughter, and the other had her daughter with her. We were just sitting at a table, drinking the establishment's coffee, minding our own business.
So what happened? Who ID'd you as the dangerous Democrat to have the cops get involved the way they did?
Well, I don't want to speculate too much, but, there was what appeared to be an advanced security person for Eric Cantor. I mean, when you have the squiggly tube hanging out of your ear, it's pretty obvious who you are. The man was talking actively, not only to the two police officers who'd arrested me, on and off for half an hour, numerous other police officers, and was in and out of the restaurant talking back and forth to other Republicans. You could see by the Republican stickers, back and forth, nailed to his BlackBerry. So obviously, at one point when I went outside the restaurant just to say hi to some other Democrats that were starting to arrive, he asked me to move my car, which is parked on a public street. I said, look, it's a public street. I put my quarter in. I have a right to have it here.
Were you harassed by law enforcement? Were you harassed?
Up until the time...
Go ahead.
Up until the time I was put on the car, no. I mean, that's where the whole thing went south. I mean, I left the place willingly. They basically gave me a choice of, you have to leave because the owner believes you're going to be disruptive. And I said, now, let me see if I get this right. You believe I'm going to be disruptive, yet I'm sitting here drinking coffee, talking calmly with my friends. I said, how does that weigh against my constitutional rights to listen to my congressional representative and have the opportunity to talk to him? I said, I'm sorry, that's not a choice.
Mr. Taylor, what did you do? Let's show the videotape again. What did you do to have these three gentlemen put you up against the car and then have Bubba right there take you down the way he did?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I mean, like I said, everything was going fairly smoothly until they got me up against the car. The officer on the right pinned my shoulder up against the car and started moving my arm in directions Mother Nature never intended. The other officer was, he knew what he was doing, and then boom, then that big guy arrived, and it all went to hell in a handbasket.
Were you resisting arrest?
How could I resist? I mean, I literally could not comply with their request. I mean, they were trying to, it was like my arms were moving in opposite direction. The one officer was doing everything right, and the other one's jacking my arm practically. The only way he would have gotten in position was to physically break it off.
Mr. Taylor, you are now facing what situation? What do you have to do? What's the next move here?
Well, I am facing, trespassing, resisting arrest, and creating a public disturbance, which, couldn't come at a worse time. I've been laid off for the last 6 months, and in a cruel twist of fate, I get a phone call with a job offer that I start in 2 weeks. Well, I mean, if my security clearance goes out the window, I can kiss that goodbye.
Mr. Taylor, thank you. Mr. Taylor, I want to thank you for speaking up tonight on The Ed Show. I think that this is dangerous stuff that's happening in America, and I want you to know that I'm going to follow up with those law enforcement officials, and I want to get their response to all of this. Mr. Taylor, good to have you with us tonight. Speaking about all this violence, the Kentucky Democratic Party is turning the tables on Rand Paul. They released a new commercial using video of the infamous head stomp. Take a look.
Get the cop! Get the cop! Get the police! Get the police! Get the police! Get the police! Come on!
Only in America, right?